fan for a long time, but I'm a fan of the man, too.
And you're wearing the same thing you were wearing yesterday.
Yes, that's. But I ironed this shirt before I got here. But back in Katrina days, before the floodwaters had even receded here, there was a concert that was done in New York, and it was put together helter-skelter the last minute, but people that cared came. And Dave was doing a show at Radio City. We were there and came over in the middle of the break on his show to play for the Big Apple Helps the Big Easy. So I just wanted you to know that. Here's a little song about pirates. I heard Dave do this for Jack Johnson, and I was honored. Mother Ocean, I have heard you call. Wanted to sail on your waters since I was 3 feet tall. You've seen it all. You've seen it all. Watch the man who rode you switch from sails to steam, and in your belly you hold a treasure few have ever seen. Most of them dreams. Most of them dreams. Yes, I am a pirate. 200 years too late. Cannons don't thunder. There's nothing to plunder. I'm an over 40 victim of fate. Arriving too late. Arriving too late. I've done a bit of smuggling, cocaine and some grass. I made enough money to buy Miami, but I pissed it away so fast. It never meant to last. It's never meant to last. I haven't drunk now for over 2 weeks. Passed out and I rallied and I spun a few leaks. But I gotta stop wishing. I got to go fishing down to rock bottom again with just a few friends. Just a few friends. Thank you, our friends. I go for younger women, lived there for the while. Though I ran away, they'll come back someday. To manage, I can manage a smile. It just takes a while. It just takes a while. Mother Ocean, after all my years I've found occupational hazard being my occupation's just not around. Feel like I've drowned, but I won't wear a frown. Feel like I've drowned. Could I get in trouble with this now?
Tonight, the band paid tribute not only to Jimmy Buffett's passing, but to just many passings in the music world with a couple of covers and a phenomenal set list that would make these people so proud looking down on this band tear up this summer 2023 tour. You guys are in for more commentary. We'll talk about everything from the show to posters to some sad, desperate attempts for love. We'll talk about it all. We're gonna have a ball. It's almost 3 a.m. on the East Coast. I think I'm doing the most, but we're gonna start the DNB post show stream right about now.
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years. Tonight.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started. And I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end. And then when Roy passed.
But Dave really, this is the thing. Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. Washington State, what up? Seattle, what up? Portland, Oregon, what up? Shout out to everyone camping at the Gorge. Wild Horse, what up? Gold Camping, what up? Premier Camping, what up? Standard Camping, what up? The Glampers, what up? Shout out to everyone with the Airbnbs out there. Crescent Bar, what up? Wenatchee, what up? Leavenworth, what up? Moses Lake, what up? Ellensburg, Washington, what up? Squamish Pass. Stevens Pass, what up? R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett. R.I.P. James Casey. R.I.P. Bob Barker. Thank you guys for joining the post-show stream tonight. And these shows have been phenomenal. You have people that have been going to shows for a long, long time that are getting show songs they never heard before. Shout out to my friend D. She got her 200th unique song. She's been going since the early 2000s, and she got Help Myself. All these years, even in the '04 tour, still had never gotten Help Myself, but finally got it tonight. Other people have been going to shows for decades on decades and just are saying these shows this weekend are in their top 10. And it's great to see this. I'm happy for everyone that's out there. I don't tend to play a hate from the sidelines now. I used to do it. I've lived, I learned, I've grown. And it's what I'm just happy for everyone that's hanging out at the Gorge. We got two people. We're gonna try something here because the Gorge sometimes has some janky service, but we're gonna try to bring on. We're gonna bring on Connor initially. We'll bring on leave Connor on. We'll bring Ted on, and we'll try to have them both on at the same time. I will then call my boy J-Bo, and then hopefully get John Dix on. Hopefully get another guest, Jeff K from Arizona, on as well. But if it all else fails, we'll call Connor, we'll call Ted back to back, like the Drake song, and get this done. I will say I fell asleep. I had to get sleep. Last show, I literally did the post show. I woke up at 5:30 a.m., played hockey, and then Eastern time, and then did a show that same day, that same night at 1 in the morning, or kind of into the next night. So I had to sleep. But I did wake up, and y'all told me Bayou was played. Okay, everyone hit me up, gave me the alert, shot the flare off that Bayou was played. I will say this: Bayou has one less play this year in 2023 than it did in 2022. And ladies and gentlemen, that's change you can believe in. Okay, that is change, that is progress, that is moving America forward. There is one less Bayou play. Now, listen, I love the jam in Bayou, right? I love the jam in Bayou. But the verses are a shame. Anyway, I'm playing. All right, let's bring on our first guest. And again, we're gonna test this out. We're gonna bring on Connor F here. You guys hear the crickets. Connor, what's up?
Marcus, how's it going?
It's going well. I want to know, what did you think of this show tonight?
Well, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet for certain. That was my favorite show that I have ever been to, and it was my 36th show of my entire lifetime, and this one was the best set list, best energy, best overall that I've been to.
Wow, that's impressive. And by the way, guys, if you don't know, Connor goes to shows out in the Midwest, Alpine, Deer Creek. That's his home base. So it's not like he was going to like Orange Beach, Alabama. Sorry, y'all, but y'all get some cookie cutter stuff. He's out there at Alpine in the mid 20 teens when the band was tearing up. But this is he said is his best show. What made it so high on your list here to be number one?
Just all the rare songs that I got tonight. Pirate Looks at 40, Joyride for the first time, Help Myself for the first time, The Wait, which was mind-boggling. Man, 8-Year Liberation. The incredible two-step that they just dragged on. That had to have been a 20-minute two-step. Just a very, to me, it was a wall-to-wall show.
That was a personal liberation for Spaceman, right? Because they've been playing it this year.
Personal liberation. Yeah, personal.
Okay. And by the way, that was the first and only Big Whiskey song of the entire weekend. Are you missing Big Whiskey, or do you love the fact that they're spreading out and digging into different corners of the catalog?
I miss it. I don't. I just appreciate what's played, for the show. And I'd love to hear a rare Big Whiskey song like Squirm. I always like Why I Am, because that's Leroy song. Lying in the Hands of God. But overall, I guess I miss it and I don't at the same time.
All right. Let's go ahead. We're gonna try to bring on Tedbro as well. We'll talk to both of you guys about this show here. All right, Ted, can you hear us?
I can hear you guys.
All right, we got 3 people on now, and Tedbro, tell us about this show. What did you think?
I tell you what, Connor there, he nailed it on the head on a whole lot of it. It was unbelievable from start to beginning. It was really an emotional night, to be honest with you, just because of kind of all the things that have been going on, especially with Jimmy Buffett and that. But some really touching tributes tonight, and it was a really special place to be for a show.
That definitely seems like this was just a special night for sure. I want to go back to back. Let's start off with Ted. We'll go back to Connor. What was going through your mind, and what was it like to get this big eye fish bartender fake into the stone, into the bartender? You go first, Ted.
It was unbelievable. They tricked the heck out of us there in the pit. We thought bartender was coming, but then when they had the first notes of stone, everyone lost it, and that was such a really cool moment. That was one of the most special moments of the night.
All right, what about you, Connor?
You know, I'd have to agree with Ted, but part of me feels like Jeff and Rashawn almost messed up. Like that felt too good to be true. I feel like they must have read the set list backwards, and regular fish tender and then stone was in their heads. Because I mean, if that was a tease planned by the band, then that was probably the most flawless tease I've ever seen in the history of the Dave Matthews Band.
So Jeff and Rashawn, they started playing bartender.
Yeah, so just the both of them started playing bartender, and then Dave started the chords for the stone while they were still playing the Jeff and Rashawn were still playing the bartender intro,
the opening riff.
Wow, yeah. Wow. I'm sure we got some people. Jordan Norris and Mitch White. Mitch already has a couple songs up on YouTube already. Like 20 minutes after the show ended, he had stuff up. And then Jordan Norris, I'm sure, you're going to have another full show. And by the way, guys, YouTube Jordan Norris, he's been doing a great job this year of putting up the full show completely right after the show's in. 7-8 hours after the show's in, they're uploaded to YouTube. So check out his page to see night one in its entirety. Also, SiriusXM DMB Radio Channel 30. They'll be playing replays all weekend of the show, and then it'll be in the archives at some point as well. So for Ted, what was your favorite song of the night?
I've been waiting for Two Step all weekend long. That's always the one song I'm chasing. So I was absolutely thrilled by it, and just the fact that, as Connor said, it dragged on forever. And it was one of those nights where you could tell they just didn't want to stop playing, and it was so cool to see the crowd's energy feed off of that. And I was losing my mind. It was incredible.
And Connor, what was your favorite song?
I mean, Two Step is in my top 3. I'd have to say Two Step, but if we want a unique answer, I'd probably have to go with the Pirate Looks at 40 opener. Like we discussed yesterday, I got to see Jimmy Buffett at Alpine last summer before he passed, and he played that song at the show. So I thought that was a very special way to open tonight's show with that song.
And any of you guys Pearl Jam fans? Ted, Connor, you guys?
A little bit, not a ton, but I still appreciate their music.
I do really want to see Pearl Jam on upcoming Thursday at the United Center. I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to pull the strings, but one can dream, right?
Yeah, and speaking of Pearl Jam, the challenge, I've been trying to see them, I would say for the last 5 years. I've been well aware of them for most of my, a teenage/adult life. But I think in the last 5 years, I've started to connect it with some of the songs. There are going to be more plays of Busted Stuff and Granny for this summer tour than they're going to be actual Pearl Jam shows.
Crazy.
Oh, really?
There, as you were just talking about the Chicago shows and the other Midwest shows, are in Minneapolis, St. Paul at the XL Energy Center this weekend. They don't tour this frequently. I hope it's not something with the sickness or illness. If it is not, then y'all need Pearl Jam. You watching this? Tour more. Stop playing one show in every corner of the country for every 7 years. Anyway, so I say all that to say that there's not going to be a lot of touring from Pearl Jam. People definitely pack out these venues last year, Bridgestone, MSG, amongst others. This year, XL, United Center, Deer Creek's getting a show. But they opened up that E1 with Just Breathe the first time they ever played it. Dave mentioned, this is kind of a song he was listening to today and decided to play based on losing so many great musicians and other people in the world, notable people in the world. So for Connor, what was it like to hear that? What was it?
Like the Pearl Jam cover. It was really
Yeah.
good. I didn't know what it was at first until I started hearing Dave singing, and then I realized, oh, this is a Pearl Jam song. This is totally awesome. That was like the 5th or 6th time my mind was absolutely fried by the set list tonight. But it was totally cool hearing Dave pay a tribute to all the artists that have passed.
And Ted, what was the pit like for that cover?
It was crazy. I tell you what, I agree with Connor that it was really a touching tribute. And that was actually one of the few songs that I did know that I was familiar with. And just like everyone else in the pit, everyone else was screaming every word for word. The energy was incredible. It was a really, really touching moment and really touching tribute.
And Ted, with the pit, where were you in the pit? Were you in the front, back, the corner?
I was in the back. I was mainly towards the back. I was back towards Buddy's side a little bit towards the end. But I was in the back tonight. I tell you what, it was one of the most packed pits I think I've ever experienced. You could not get anywhere. We were packed in there like sardines.
And any sort of issues, fights, people shoving, people kind of trying to push forward at all?
No, not at all. Like I said, I was in the back, so I was kind of away from the brunt of where some of the crazy stuff can go on. But it was a lot of happy people, a lot of dancing, a lot of really cool moments to witness and experience.
Gotcha. And that's a very landmark feature of the Gorge, or something that's always notable is the pit on Saturday is oversold, and if it's not oversold, people slide in there illegally. Did you see people trying to slide in or hop in? Or
every time? They're good at it too.
Yeah, it's just I honestly would wish they can. I would rather have them undersell the pit a little bit for all venues. We initially criticized Orange Beach and realized it was just undersold with the heat and everything, and I really would think that. We want to go to MVPs of the night first with Connor. If you had to pick anyone on stage from the band, who would you say is the MVP of this show?
That's a very, very hard ask. Yeah, you got me completely stumped because all of them, provided their part to make the show incredible. But I don't know. I always have to go Carter. Carter's the safe pick. Carter is by far the one who's doing the most physical movement and activities on stage. So I'm playing it safe. I'm going Carter.
What about you, Ted?
Yeah, I'm taking a little different direction. Tonight my MVP was Jeff. Jeff Coffin was unbelievable all night long on the sax, and he's such a talent. He whips out that flute too, and the sax, and just he was on fire tonight. It was so much fun to see how excited he was to play and the energy he was feeding off of, and he was my MVP for the night for sure.
Awesome. Some other notable things, guys. There's 2 Walk Around the Moon songs. They were played back to back. Madman's Eyes and Looking for a Vein. Any of you guys get Joyride for the first time, or have you guys both seen it before?
That was my first time.
It was my first.
And how was that? Let's go with Ted first. How was it, Joyride?
It was amazing. It's one of those songs that we kind of joke about, that it's kind of hit or miss, but tonight it really proved me wrong. I did have a feeling that it was going to be coming just because I feel like they played at the Gorge a lot, but it was really, really cool to see in person.
Gotcha. And shout out to Don Dingo, aka Hines.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm thinking
his
about.
favorite song to hate there, but obviously it's everyone else outside of him in the entire fan base loves Joyride. And Connor, how was it to hear that for the first time as well?
It was awesome hearing Joyride for the first time. That's a song that I've wanted to hear live for years, and when I finally heard Dave play the first opening riff on the guitar, my mind was blown. Everyone in my group went bananas when he started playing Joyride.
Gotcha. And speaking of songs people don't like, Louisiana Bayou comes in at number 13. Anything notable about this, Connor, or was it just the same old for this performance?
Hey, I think Bayou is an epic song. I love hearing Louisiana Bayou, and I feel like they put it kind of on another level tonight, maybe just because it was at the Gorge and I was having such a blast as it was already. But that Bayou tonight was a fun one. Buddy was going nuts.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. You said you like Bayou? Nah, just kidding.
Nah.
Nah, it's
yes,
cool.
I said it. Yes.
It's honestly, and I say this all the time, the verses are the biggest waste of time ever. I love the jam though. I just think the verses are not. The story could have been told better, in my opinion. There, and we get Bayou Jimmy thing. Brick House is a little bit of a. I think the only bathroom break of the entire weekend so far is Bayou into Jimmy thing. I mean, even Brick House, I love what they're doing with Brick House this year. Let's go. I want to talk about openers. Were both of you guys they're here for both the openers, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so first we'll go with Ted. What did you think of Tank and the Bangers?
They really blew me away. I really didn't know much about them. I was more familiar with the other two openers, but they did a fantastic job, and the music was amazing.
All right, what about you, Connor? What did you think of Tank and the Bangers?
I've never heard of Tank and the Bangers, but it was definitely interesting to me because I've never heard music quite like that. And I was kind of meandering around, the lawn and talking with people, so I wasn't paying too much attention. So maybe my opinion isn't valid on it. But I will have to say the last song in their set that they played was incredible. I really liked the last song that they played.
Gotcha. And speaking of them, I saw them. It was my last concert before the pandemic. The Revivalists came to a small theater, MGM Theater here in Connecticut, about 4,000, 5,000 people. And I saw them in a theater, so it was much more intimate, and I was pretty close. I was in the lower level. I will say they're from New Orleans, and any band that makes it out of New Orleans usually is just extremely talented, and I was very impressed. I can see there were some people who didn't like them that on social media, and again, that's not the gauge for everything, but people who actually were commenting on it, they were like, it's not my thing. But I think one thing with them is if you see them in a theater, if you see them in an intimate setting, their tours are typically in intimate settings. I think it's different than having you know, seeing them at the Gorge where it's a wide, vast, open area. We'll go with the next one. So, Connor, what'd you think of the Sacred Souls?
I liked them. They were a good group. I didn't know anything about them going in either, so I was just listening to the music. But out of the two, I like the Sacred Souls better.
And what type of music, what type of genre or style was Sacred Souls?
I'm not really a music expert. I'd say kind of like soul, maybe.
Okay.
That'd be my best guess.
Okay, so they were actually okay. Because sometimes they'll have a name like that, but it's a rock band or a punk band, or so interesting. All right, what about you, Ted? What do you think of the Sacred Souls?
I agree. I thought they were really good. Once again, it's so funny because Dave and the band, I feel like they're so incredibly good at finding talent, and it's always new artists that I've never heard before, and they always find a way to really impress me, and I went the same for the Sacred Souls tonight.
All right, we're gonna go on to the poster situation here. Now, I know Connor got a poster. Ted, did you get a poster?
I did. I got lucky. I lucked out and was able to secure one.
All right, and we'll start off with you, Ted. What time did you go into the venue, and what was the environment like to try to get a poster?
it was jam packed. We got in right around 3:45, 4 o'clock. It was a little after doors opened. We were trying to get there in there right away at 3:30, but it didn't really work out quite so well. But got in there, and it was one of the longest lines that I've seen for a poster, which really didn't surprise me too much. But we were able to get in and out, and we're lucky enough to be able to secure one. So I'm ecstatic. I'm super happy to have been able to buy one.
And did it seem like, did you get a gauge on when it sold out, or were you already going straight to the pit? Like, do you know?
Yeah, after that, we went and got the poster, and from there we went down to the view bar, and we hung out there for a little bit before the openers started, and then yeah, we went from there.
Okay, and Connor, what about you? What time did you get into the venue?
Oh, I got into the venue right at 3:30. I took advantage of the shuttle system that they have at Terrace Camping. They took me and a bunch of other people on a bus, and we drove down to a side entrance of the venue, and it was the running of the bulls to get to that merchandise stand, and I was lucky enough to snag one. And then I got another one. Shout out to John Woodbury.
Yes.
Very good friend of mine. I managed to get him a poster. So to me, it was a successful day.
Yeah, he told me about that earlier. And the story with John is John has the Gorge Sperry from 2019. I was at that show. I did not get a Gorge Sperry, unfortunately. I think that one had a much smaller run. This run of what, 2,300 or that's a lot more. It was in the thousands back when, just like around 1,000 or so, I believe, when I was there in 19. So now he's gonna have these side by side. And I know you posted it on social media, but again, I always stress this, and I don't think you need to always prove yourself. That there's gonna be people who may be like, oh, why is he getting the post? But Connor, essentially multiple times a year, he's getting posters for people and he's giving it to them for face value. So a lot of times, I post pictures of Connor there early, especially like this Gorge is different. Like you said, there's a running of the bulls, but Connor's at that outside merch tent 2, 3, 4 hours before, but he's getting posters for other people. And I think, again, as we talk about all throughout this weekend, the theme has been good and bad. There's been some great examples of fans. There's been some horrible or just weird things fans have done. But Connor is definitely an example of the good in this community. Again, always looking out for other people. Again, taking time. All right, he's got his own poster. Now he's going to another merch stand to stand in line and get for someone else. So that I commend you for that, Connor. Your heart, your ability to want to help others and support others is great.
Well, I appreciate it. And John did me a favor. It was really easy helping him out in Chicago, getting him posters, because so many casual fans were there. They had Friday night's poster for sale on Saturday after the Saturday show. So it was, a walk in the park. He got me the Bioworks Flying Rhino poster from the Gorge in exchange, for helping him out. So I felt that I owed him one, and I felt that doing him a service was the right thing to do.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And the funny thing about Connor and John is John was born and raised in the Chicago metro and moved to Colorado. And Connor, I would say a decade or two later, was born and raised in the same area. You guys meet through DMB. You guys are both White Sox fans, which is
unfortunately
again just special stuff that you guys are connected through there. And hopefully, my thing is, hopefully they keep the team in the South Side. I don't think they need another stadium, but there's all these gimmicks and threats to leave. I know all about that as a Whalers fan at 6 years old who lost the Whalers, but I hope the South Side keeps the White Sox. It is, to me, the better experience of MLB games. I did both last year, and the Chicago White Sox fans are more fun. The tailgate was by far much more everyday person than, I'm just here to look cool at the Cubs game. So anyway, I digress. Let's look at this poster here, this diagram here. Tell me I'm not crazy. Connor, you've been to the Gorge before, right?
This is my second year at
Yeah,
the Gorge.
last year they didn't have elevated poster prices, right? They were 60.
They were 60.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that's what I thought. I know someone was like the Grant. They have a Grant County tax that's on the tickets, but I was like, so this year they just jacked the price up for these. Ted, what did you think about this? The elevated price is $100 for a poster, and for the Sperry poster regular, 200 for the variant, and then the regular poster that was $60 at any other venue, that bicycle poster is now $70.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. I noticed actually yesterday the poster itself was $70 too. And I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
funny thing, when we were leaving tonight after the show, they were still selling night one posters, or they still had them up at some of the shops. So
Wow.
I think the increased price, was definitely felt. But tonight for me, for the Sperry, it didn't matter if that thing was $200. I couldn't help myself. That was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I was willing to pay, and I'm extremely happy to have been able to secure one.
Connor, what about you? What do you think about these elevated prices?
I think Ted absolutely hit it on the head. If you get like a standard poster like night one, something that's not jaw dropping, raising it to $70, to me, it's not beneficiary for the fans, which turns out not to be beneficiary for band management because people are losing interest in buying these posters. Now, the Sperry, I get that it was raised to $100. If it was $300, all of them would still sell out because what's the word I'm looking for? The demand for these posters are so high. But for anything else, I feel, raising the price, even by just the $10, really isn't doing anyone a favor, especially a tour poster.
Yeah, and I think that I feel the Sperry poster being 100 is fair market, and I will, because people are flipping these anyway. Many times, someone's gonna pay 500, $600 for this Sperry on the secondary. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. So I do think for certain posters like this Sperry, yes, it looks very similar to its companion poster from 2019. Because it's going to sell so much on the secondary, raising that price is a little bit of a deterrent, or just a little bit of a, hey, the artist and the band and the people that put this together, from the merch stand to the band approving this to Sperry himself, I think $100 is a good deal for this. So I think for this case, it's good. I do agree for a regular poster to be $70 is excessive. I honestly think they'll never bring the price down, but some of these posters are, in my opinion, only worth $50, and I just don't buy. But some of these posters are not worth $60. They're not worth.
Wilmington night one is worth 10.
See, I think it's funny. I was shocked that people didn't like the Winters poster as much. I know the eyes are creepy, but there's a lot of people online that like other posters that I like or have similar tastes who didn't like it. And so it's interesting because I thought it was worth 60. Would I have paid 70? I probably would have paid 70 for it just because of it's the Gorge, and I like the fact that it had the Gorge, like the crowd and the stage. The stage and the crowd really is what won me over on that poster. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I absolutely think the tour poster being $70 is garbage. And that's because it was $60 at every other stop. And a lot of the fans here, there's going to be every show, there's always new people that only come to the Gorge. But you got people traveling with this band all across the country, whether it's one show before the Gorge or 5 or 10 or some people 15 shows. So it's $60 everywhere else, and magically at the Gorge, you're at the end of the run. You would think they'd want to unload these posters. They're charging $70 for the poster you could have gotten from most tour stops. I think that's crazy. But again, it's their choice. It's their design. As consumers, we decide if we're gonna buy or not. So I think most of this is fair. The DMB tour poster being 70 is wild here. Any final thoughts from you guys? Let's start off with Ted. Any final thoughts about this night, about your experience so far at the Gorge?
I'm telling you, the Gorge just it always delivers, no matter what. It's such a special place, and it's I've been so thankful for everything I've been able to experience and all the people I've met and all the memories I've been able to create. There's truly nothing like it. So I'm just nothing but thankful tonight.
And Connor.
Today was an absolutely perfect day, starting off with getting that Sperry poster and then the crazy set list. This is truly what makes the Gorge special. And it's a major. So all of, this is the place where all of the fans come together for one last hurrah. And I think tonight's show proved that that's the case. And I'm excited to see what tomorrow brings.
Awesome. And then we have a couple of group shots here. See if I can find. Where are they? I've retweeted one of them. We had where is it? Oh, I thought there was a group here. Let me see if I can find it.
I think PJ posted one.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. PJ posted it because I liked it. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. We got a group shot. I know Connor wasn't in here, but we got PJ, we got Bridget, got Ted, and also B Hard. I met him at B _hard 27 right there. In the tie-dye. He was I met him at MSG last year. And then Amber, she's from Philly. She's in the far right. I believe that's B. I can't remember. Oh, Brian maybe.
Yeah, it's Brian.
Okay. Yep. So Brian and Amber. So Amber's I think she's from Philly, or she's a Philly sports fan like I am. For most, or two of my teams are Philly. There. So it's great to see all these people hanging out. That's the view bar right behind the stage. You can look out at the Gorge there. So this is awesome. Look forward to checking in with you guys tomorrow. Thank you for coming on, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you, Marcus.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Have a good night. Bye.
All right. So we want to thank our guest there for pulling up. Great service. Sounds like there's great service at the Gorge. Oh, Jeff didn't. All right. We'll try to get Jeff on at some point. Jeff, and J-Bo's going to be next. But great to talk to them about these awesome shows. And this is night 2 of 3 at the Gorge. Fish is doing some shows as well in Colorado, Dick's Sporting Goods Park. And they're going to have their night 4 tomorrow. Although I'll say this about Dick's, I don't like how they have these big poles there. Let's see if we can find. I like the setup. Obviously, the Gorge is just a better venue. But one thing about the Dick's run is, first of all, it's all GA stands, which is the seating, and then GA floor, which I think is a disaster. I'd rather have a ticket. And then it's a soccer stadium, so that you got just various speakers propped up that blocks it. Let's see if we can get was it Ryan Storm? Shout out to Ryan Storm. Love his content for jam bands. But like this is, I don't like how they have these speakers up here. And I'm sure you get good sound here, but I think having a big speaker in the middle of the thing kind of ruins the vibe. And again, making it all GA. But let's Fish fans have a great time here. I'd rather go to MSG, in my opinion, which I've been to already, just because it's a more intimate venue and it's closer. You're at the end of the stands and you're pretty far away. DMB has played this venue as well a couple of times. Snoop Dogg opened up for the band one of the times they played here. But yeah, that's Fish. And I'm only doing this because I'm trying to make Hines upset that we're talking about Fish. And yeah, that's the scene from Dick's, and all the shows for that are on Sirius XM Radio, Fish Radio. So that's what's cool about that, is they have all their shows on Sirius XM, and then if you have live Fish like I do, you can listen to all the shows there on Live Fish. It's an app just for them. Let's get to J-Bo real quick, and then we'll get to John's ready. But let me just check in real quick with J-Bo, and we'll get some quick insight from him. Because I told him we would have him on. J-Bo's from Connecticut, like me, not too far from where I grew up, but he also, just like other people, like John Woodbury, just talking about him, he moved out to the mountain west, and he lives in Salt Lake City now. Let's talk to J-Bo.
Yes, sir.
J-Bo, what's up,
Buddy.
man? What'd you think about the show tonight?
Oh, I mean, it's the Gorge. It was good. It had a weird flow, and I was gonna tell you I'm at camp with my buddy Alex and his girlfriend Shannon, so they say hello.
All right.
And was looking forward to talking to you. I lost my voice, so I've been, screaming the shows, just having a blast. But yeah, man. So I kind of want to hear your opinion. I feel like I'm talking to you with the highest of highs, with the stone, with the lowest of lows. So I want to hear your opinion. I haven't listened to what you said before this.
So it's hard because I actually went to sleep and I didn't hear any of the show. Obviously there was no live. They had Couch Tour, but I can't even. I don't know. I think they banned me from Couch Tour. I can't listen. So I didn't have there's not really much to gauge as far as listening to the actual show. I do say, looking at the set list, I love how they had the Big Eye Fish bartender fake into the stone and then go back into bartender, Help Myself. I love how in the middle of the show, it looks like you got Joyride, Rhyme and Reason, The Wait. And I think the other positive.
And after that, just like everything you just said, I was loving, and then it just, it went off a cliff.
Yeah, I would say this. I mean, if the only bathroom break of the entire weekend is Bayou Jimmy thing, Gravedigger is Gravedigger, and it's 5 plays this year. You Might Die Trying, to me, is one of the songs that the band plays better now than it did when it first came out in the Roy era.
Doubt. I meant to say, after what I said as the run, Die Trying was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the Gravedigger, Bayou Jimmy, or Jimmy Bayou, Bayou Jimmy, and then Brick House. Ooh, I was just like, oh man, I lost a lot of steam.
Yeah, and I'll say this year the band has played some very unique sets. Virginia in the Rain opening shows being second, third, fourth place slots, just a couple of, maybe just once or twice. They have not played Seek Up that much. They have abandoned Big Whiskey, which I think is for the better. Just Spaceman's the only song in the entire weekend so far that they've had it. 2 of the best shows of the year, Gorge Night 1 and SPAC Night 1, had 0 Big Whiskey songs, which again, I like. I'm not saying that's bad, but this band is trying different things out. They're making it unique. So there are some weird runs. In some ways, it can kill momentum, as you said. And in other ways, it at least gives people a taste of something different. And if you go to a bunch of shows, there's a reason to come back. Are you a Pearl Jam fan, J-Bo?
That's a good question. No, but I definitely respect what they did tonight, not only with PJ, but also Buffett, which is something we could talk about more at a different time. But so I'm enough to know the reference tonight, but no, I don't go out of my way and listen to Pearl Jam.
Gotcha. What was the crowd like tonight? Even, understanding that you said there's a, kind of momentum was slowing down. What was the crowd like Saturday tonight compared to some other Gorge shows you've been to?
Yeah, so I usually night 2 at the Gorge is like, just like ripping, and I am definitely excited that last night was so good. And I think that was kind of the vibe, like, ooh, the bar is very high. I can't get too excited for the rest of the weekend now. I'd be lying if I told you I didn't have high hopes for tomorrow. But yeah, I just like they just set it so high last night that even like what in my book is just an okay show. Like I'm at the Gorge. I'm not mad leaving the show, but just a little surprised that it like it's just like yeah, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and usually Saturday does build up a little more. And the other interesting thing about this show, this is, I think, just a scheduling thing. They got Molly Tuttle for Friday, and many times, listen, she's got other stuff. She may have other touring. Joe Lawler comes out tonight for Rhyme and Reason, which
So that's something I did mark on Ants. Even I was just like, yeah, Lawler rips. That was so good.
it looks like there's a Crazy Train interpolation.
I think so, and I wasn't sure. What's funny is I was hoping to talk to you about last night even more, and I just noted so many more interpolations, and like I had like stuff I was hoping to talk to you. Like I even thought Virginia and Monsters were both longer than I watch almost every show. So there's like a lot of cool stuff about that, but that rhyme with Lawler, I'm not like 100% on that interpolation, but I just know it's good.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I like that. Last night they had the Price is Right interpolation.
Yeah, man.
They had a couple of other
A
ones.
James Bond on what was that? Seek Up.
Yeah, Seek Up had the James Bond.
Oh my gosh, dude, that was so good.
And tonight, 7 songs that have 5 plays or less. This tour: Pirate, Stone, Help Myself, Joyride, Rhyme and Reason, The Wait, Gravedigger, and Just Breathe. Obviously, a couple of these are tour debuts, but I always think that's a great
couple
stat.
of them are obviously knocks to what happened, and obviously, like, so yeah, that skews it a little bit. But I hear you. Like, we caught Joyride up here night 1 last year, so getting that again was amazing. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot. I'm like, even with. Dude, I came up over the hill with ABI right as it was opening last night. It was unreal, but just seeing it, I think there's something to be said about seeing it being busted out at SPAC over then seeing that it's gotten played more. But the fact that ABI opened the weekend is still unreal. So, we'll talk about this more offline, but like, I still think there's a point that if you're at a show where there's a big bust out, which for me, I was at the Caravan in New York City the last time ABI was played. So to then get that at Saratoga after all those years and then get at the Gorge, like, yeah, I got to be honest, like the Saratoga one meant more to me. So it's just like it just says a lot about the band,
Yeah, and that's a good perspective because I cannot speak to say I was there night 1, but you were at SPAC and you were at Gorge night 1, and even Matt Norlander, who was not there last night, but he was at SPAC. He said that last night was the best show of the tour. I think one argument you can make about last night is you get the violin in there. You get ABI to open. So there's arguments. Obviously, everything is subjective. I do think what's interesting about this show is, and this is again the scheduling. When you have a violin the night before, when you have all this, you have ABI opener. It's hard to have some of that stuff. Like typically, like I've seen Warren Haynes on Saturday, and in 2019, it's like that was the show of that Saturday was the show because Warren pops in and some other stuff. I mean, Lawler is amazing, but not having another guest is just, it's usually that's how Saturday is. You have another, like you have a guest that opens up. But I think I think it was tough to book and get someone. They didn't have a opener like the Flecktones in 2020 were supposed to be. So, but I think overall this show is still solid. Just having Big Eye Fish, Bartender, and the Stone. Let's go to DMB. What is it? DMB Society had a stat as well. Shout out to my boy Sean. He had that this was like the first show. They only had a couple of the only show with a bunch of songs. Let's take a look at this. So this is see if I can find it. I thought it was something about the maybe I was wrong. But it was like the only show that like certain songs were played all at once. But it is the last time Stone and Bartender were played back to back was September 9th, 2000. That was the only other time it happened there. Any final thoughts as far as looking forward to tomorrow and the final night of events?
Yeah, so I got something. Well, two things that are, one's obvious. Like I even hate putting this on record, but I'd be lying if I told you I didn't drive all the way to Utah to not have a chance at a full last stop tomorrow. And look, I'm not gonna expect that, but I hope it happens. Obviously, a lot of us do. And then just going back, one more note on night one. And I shouldn't put this on record, but this says so much about the band. Like, I don't clamor for Spoon and Cry Freedom as much as others, which is why I still think SPAC is the show of the summer. But then, yeah, to answer your question, obviously hoping for a full last stop, but just as we all talk, seeing this many shows now, tonight was 41, tomorrow's 42, just anything that's unique, we're going to have a good time. And absolute final note, I think I saw you at UConn football the other night.
Yeah.
Love that. Still want to shout them out for winning the national championship in basketball. And dude, Marcus, just appreciate you having me on.
All right. Well, thanks for being on, J-Bo, and enjoy your time tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.
All right. So that was J-Bo on there. And again, he wants that last stop. The full last stop. And if you haven't been following the last couple of years or maybe new to the fan base, the last stop in recent years, there's an epic outro that just takes its time flowing out. They have essentially cute without the E that it's been cut from the team. You can go ahead and tell all your friends that we don't want that, right? We want that full last stop. And hopefully if it's played here at the Gorge, if it's played in the fall tour, hopefully they do a full last stop, as it just, that outro is epic. And actually I got one of those half stops or not finished stops at the Gorge in 2019. That was how I completed Before These Crowded Streets. I had everything for Before These Crowded Streets from 2012 to I believe 2013. I want to say 2012 and 2013. I got everything from, let me check. I'm gonna check that just to see. Now I gotta look at this. From 2012 to 2013, I think I got everything in Before These Crowded Streets. I don't know. No, Pig may have been. No, 2012 to 2016. And that was only like 7-8 shows, which was like a blessing. I mean, my third show, I got Spoon. Dreaming Tree. Fourth show, I got Spoon. And being a late bloomer to DMB, that was special. But last stop finally in 2019. Yeah, 2016 was when I got Pig. So I do like Spoon and I like Cry Freedom. So shout out to them. All right. Let's go bring on John Dix and let me, John, let's chew up the final pieces of popcorn you got and we'll bring you on here. But the homie is back. This has been someone who has always rode for this stream, who always tries to come on, who has been a great friend. And we're going to bring him on. So let's see. John Dix, what up?
Hey, what's good, fam? How you doing?
Doing well. We talked about the show. We had a two people on at once. There we had J-Bo. What'd you think of this show?
I had a absolute blast at this show. You know what really excites me about any DMB show that I go to now is when I get unexpected surprises. So, getting that, that Pirate Looks 40, wasn't expecting that in the opening spot. I wasn't expecting some kind of, Buffett tribute, but I wasn't expecting that opener. And then that Pearl Jam cover, that just made my night right there. So 5 stars out of 5 for me for tonight. No complaints. Even though Joyride was a train wreck, Busted Stuff was kind of choppy. But other than that, it was still a great night of surprises. DMB 4.0 brings it again. And the poster. Sperry.
Yeah, and so Busted Stuff, only the second Busted Stuff ever at the Gorge. The first one where Dave brought his guitar out and played it. Well, no, he had it out in 2010. He just didn't play it. And then Tim C. DC, he did his, just ruined the whole idea of an acoustic percussive sound by playing electric guitar. So one of two did it. It was not played in 2000, 2001, or 02 at the Gorge. I think that's a shocker. Like you said, Pirate Looks at 40. And you're a huge Pearl Jam fan, right?
Correct, yes.
So that Just Breathe, there's a couple other fans on Twitter who were hugely just over the top about that song. Pearl Jam playing one of their few shows, their Lazy Behinds, never touring more than a couple. We can't fulfill demand. We're not going to play in Seattle. We're from Seattle. We're not going to play in the state of Washington. We don't want to work too hard, right? We just want to sit here. Anyway, I always got to take my shots at Pearl Jam not touring enough. But Just Breathe pops in there at the E1 spot. And I think, like you said, honestly, everyone had Pirate Looks at 40 there. Just Breathe is the biggest surprise of the year to me as far as a cover. The biggest surprise of who was gonna think there's a Pearl Jam? There's probably one person who's like, oh, Pearl Jam's playing, but that was probably the biggest one of the years that no one saw coming.
I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that the weight coming either from the band. Right. I love that song, even because Robbie Robertson died earlier in the summer. Yeah. So DMB had plenty of opportunity to pay a tribute to him, but I think overall tonight's theme probably was just honoring those who've passed, because Dave did mention that about people passing, leaving those behind. So that probably was the overall theme of the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the Almanac had a great theory that this is the closest show to Canada in 2023. What DTE, that show and here are the two shows that are very close. And then also, what is it? Up there in upstate New York, they had the show. Those are the closest shows to Canada. And I guess their theory is, hey, with the band and, Robbie Robertson, the closest show to Canada was the Gorge Amphitheatre. So maybe that's why they did it. And like you said, I think that could be one theory. The other theory is, like you said, this was just a tribute to everyone they've lost in the music industry, and also just another song that what is it? Dead and Company play as well. So just even maybe being inspired. Hey, Dave played with Dead and Company earlier, and hey, he's looking back at stuff. He's listening to Pearl Jam. Maybe he's listening to the other stuff, and he's like, all right, let's get the weight. Let's get obviously Buffett, and let's get Just Breathe. I was talking with shout out to one of the mods here in the chat, Greg. We were talking about what are they gonna play tonight from Buffett, and my theory was Dave. He has a lot of heroes, and even with the teleprompter, he's got to it's got to either be simple, or he's got to know the song in order for it to be played. So I didn't think he was gonna go with the deep cut from Buffett this show. I thought it was gonna be Pirate Looks at 40 or something that everyone knows, was it 5 o'clock somewhere in Margaritaville? I didn't think he was going to have an obscure deep cut, because if it's Dave doesn't have the ability always to execute on some unique stuff that's challenging.
he nailed the covers, but then flubbed a Joyride, flubbed Butts and stuff. So he plays those covers perfectly. But then
Yeah.
his own stuff. We gotta keep practicing that, get that perfect because he flubbed those. But hey,
Yeah.
A for effort, Dave. A for effort.
Yeah. And also, what's interesting, we talked about this earlier, and I want to get your thoughts on this. The posters, I'm not crazy, right? Last year, the posters didn't go up in price at the Gorge, right? They were still 60.
60. Tonight's poster was 100 for the regular. I think the foil was 250, and
So
the card was even more expensive.
that was we have Connor. I don't know if you can see that. Connor posted this earlier, and I responded to it. There's no reason why that poster can't be 70. What'd you think of the 100, 200 kind of regular and foil? What'd you think of that?
Hey, the price of the brick just went up. I mean, it is what it is. The supply and demand. They knew the demand. They could have been like 200, 400 for the poster. It still would have sold out in seconds. So,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have mattered. The price of the brick just went up. That's all it is.
I agree. Is that for a Sperry? Now, what do you think? There's some critiques on this. Hines is in the chat. Some other people think the same thing. So there's some critics of Sperry saying, "Listen, he just makes the same chick." I got one of the chicks over here. Allegedly, I have a Sperry poster. Allegedly, I got one over here from Government Mule, and he just makes the same girls and just changes a couple of things. What do you think of that as far as that criticism? Some people have, and it's very few people, but some people have that criticism of the Sperry posters.
You know what? I'm not mad at him because in my job, most of my job consists of writing reports, and I use a lot of copy and paste, and my boss doesn't even realize what I'm doing. So I get paid the same. So if you can just sell the same poster to the same idiots over and over, we're gonna keep buying it. I'm one of those idiots. What difference does it make? It's gonna sell.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I'm not mad at him for it. Yes, creatively they do look a lot alike, but it ain't stopping people from lining up at 8 a.m. to get the poster.
That's true, and we see that with all across all industries of life. Some things, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Even the Apple. I have an iPhone, but honestly, what do they really add to the next iPhone from the previous? This one, I'm gonna upgrade to a 14 soon, but they have 4K and they have much better. They actually have an Android camera for one. Yeah. Compared to the one I think I have an 11 or something or whatever I have, or 12. But anyway, yeah, Apple does that all the time. They don't really make much upgrades, and you're still spending a lot of money for a MacBook Pro, and it's pretty much the same thing they've been making. And Nike shoes. Nike has variants, and they put a different colorway on, and now people are fighting and robbing each other for these Jordans. And so if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think that's a good assessment there. And I will say this one thing about the Sperry posters is the attention to detail. And even though you see, yes, the same chick, it's probably her sister, whatever, the intricate details in the poster are very solid. The way that the foils are always great. So it is what it is.
The card sold out really fast too.
And they had 350 again.
350.
And what's the price?
I'm looking for it. If anyone has an extra, I'm looking for an extra card. Just if anyone has an extra, hit me up.
Okay. Would you buy the online one? Because they're going to drop it online again.
The card?
Yeah, that's how I got these. I got these.
I want the actual one with the not the set list on the back, but the actual tour dates.
Gotcha. I think that obviously those are the ones that are going to be worth more, because if you guys see, I'm going to put myself up here. If you see this, it says they made 705 of these. It's hard to see here.
Yeah.
705 versus the run of 150 for the non-Gorge 150, and then 350 for the Gorge. That's still that's going to be a more valuable collectible there. So any other expectations going into tomorrow? I know typically you just want like a surprise, but anything that you want to hear?
No, I'm good. I mean, I'm just ready for night 3. Low expectations. I think we're gonna get Nancy's Warehouse. I'll be glad to hear those two. Another surprise, maybe a Last Stop Halloween or something like that. Some crazy Dreaming Tree, Shotgun. But I mean, if they just play 41, just the typical songs, I'll be happy with that too. We already got Bayou and Jimmy thing out of the way, so tomorrow's just gonna be house money.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming on, John. Did you get your suitcase, man?
No, my luggage is lost. They're gonna send me a claim form in 2 days, and they got to claim me out. I don't think they're gonna find it.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that, man. But
It is what it is.
All right. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of your time at the Gorge and take care.
All right, little brother, be good.
All right, peace.
All right.
I'm not your brother. Not I'm playing, man. All right, hey, see. It's an inside joke, man. All right. So we're gonna talk about some other stuff real quick, and then get out of here. I'm making good time. I'm not gonna hit the 2-hour mark or get close to it like last night. But I like John's assessment and of this show and of this weekend, man. Hey, give me a couple surprises. John's at, I think this was 112 for him, 111 or 112. Show number 111 or 112. One of the he's somewhere around there. And so he's just like, hey, just give me some stuff to shock and awe. No George Bush in Iraqi freedom, but shock and awe me a little bit and go from there. All right. Yeah. DMB fans looking for love, man. So this is my thing. And I am always somebody, again, if I'm wilding out, please tell me. Hit me up. I want my friends to call me out. I want my friends to check me if I'm looking crazy on here. And I appreciate my friends who do. That's a real friend who will really tell you, bro, you wilding, you crazy. Don't know. Don't be doing that. And so there's a couple of posts, and I've seen this here and there. There were some DMB fans looking for love, and I don't knock that. I hope people find happiness, find love. Listen, your boy just got married. I want people to find love, find it in whatever way that is, as long as it's legal. All right, But there were posts like someone's like, "This is my friend. She's single. She loves DMB. She's a great person." Like that's your friend. First of all, like, of course you're gonna say all this stuff. Like, maybe they are a great person. Maybe they are good, but don't post it on a and this was not DMB singles, right? This was not a DMB singles group. I know they have some of those. I full disclosure, I really don't think that works. I don't think you're just gonna find the most diehard fans, and I'm sure there's stuff that works, but whatever, right? But even that, at least that's a singles group. But a couple people were posting, "Hey, I'm single, looking for this," and I've seen it very here and there over the years. But like, that's not the wave. That is not how you're gonna find love in the DMB community. Matter of fact, if we're really honest, and I shout out to all the DMB couples. Some of you guys are, I know some of you guys. You need to focus on everything outside of DMB if you're trying to really find someone you're gonna rock with for a long time, right? Just saying that you're both we like DMB, that's not gonna that'll cause more problems than helping. But to post on a Gorge related thread where we had it was so great to see all these people happy and excited, sharing their campground, sharing, helping others, doing positive things, but is not the spot, that is not the wave to find love. And you're only gonna attract. Yo, Hines is calling me. What, bruh? Hines, no, not tonight. Go to a show. You should have went to the Gorge or Irvine. We would have had you on. But we would have, you're gonna only attract creepy people who are gonna look at you just because, look at my advice, Dr. Conservids, I would say this: if you are looking for love in the DMB community, first of all, most of the fan base hung out and talked to people before cell phones and the internet. Go talk to people at the campground. Be careful, be safe, have friends around. Please watch, by the way, please watch your drinks. There was someone who was something was slipped into their drink and their husband noticed it. I mean, that they were having like a seizure-like symptom. So that's another just PSA because someone did have a situation where it appears they were talking to someone. They may have put something in their drink from the they were in the venue, but there was an open drink and they put. So be careful with that. But talk to people, get to know them personality wise, even slide into their DMs, right? Slide into their DMs. Shout out to Lauren and Mark. They're a DMB couple and they met on Twitter, talking. They were talking to each other. You can't just say, "Oh, I love DMB. What's your favorite song?" No, talk. Hey, what up? Talk about life. Talk about what you do. What are your goals? And there's no perfect person. Like people, oh, I gotta have this person has to be perfect. You're gonna be single for the rest of your life. You think someone's perfect. Man, we all have flaws. But talk to people, figure out what their life is outside of DMB. And hopefully 9 times out of 10, if they don't have any hobbies outside of DMB, that they're probably not the person for you, even if you love DMB. Like even if you go to 50, 60 shows, or not, maybe they only have 40, but even if you go to half the tour, there's got to be more to life than just DMB, even if you go to a bunch of shows. So I speak out on it because it looks wild. And people, listen, it's not just me thinking that there's actually a good portion of the general DMB public, not even the general public, that are looking at these posts like, yo, you're wilding. You're wilding, you look crazy. And so I'm just saying it because no one else will say it. But I wish everyone the best on their journey to find love. Just don't make a post that you're single and look at me in my fancy car and my my bank account. No, I was kidding. That's I wanted to throw in some C cup lyrics. But yeah, come on, people. Be better. Don't look crazy. It looks desperate. I'm sorry, it looks desperate. Talk to people. I've looked crazy and looked desperate before I got married. And you live and you learn. All right. Desperate people can smell desperation from a mile away when you're trying to date. Okay. They can smell it from a mile away. So anyway, the more you know. What else happened? What was I going to talk about? Just still so many great examples of people helping each other out this weekend, and it's great to see it. Shout out to Megan, who goes. She's a huge DMB fan. Been to a bunch of shows. Shout out to Deion Sanders too. He got his first win versus TCU with that Colorado program. I was skeptical, but he got recruits, and they ain't gonna win the championship this year, but they'll definitely be better than what they were before. What did Megan? Let's see what Megan said. All right. So she says, "Hi, I'd like to say folks in our section were all super cool and didn't chat through the whole show and really loved the music. That's rare. I felt the need to call it out." Yes. I don't know. And again, I've only been going to shows for 11 years, but the last couple of years, it just continues to get worse and worse with people yelling and talking and not even focused on the show, people sitting down. I know some people, listen, you have limitations physically, your legs, your joints, your knee. It is what it is. But when people just zip their lips and you can hear the music, it changes everything. Y'all saw my American Baby intro video. Listen, they were having fun in front of me, but the dude was singing the lyrics before every single thing. She said, he's like 1,000 times. Then Dave says it. Like, it was so annoying to have someone yelling out the lyrics like that in a part where everyone just listen. Listen to Dave bust out this song for the first time in 11 years, I think it was, 12 years. So it is, again, a great section. I don't know where Meg was. And shout out to the back of the pit. Ted had a great time back there. The front of the pit. Listen, yeah, there's some great people in the front too, but it gets wild. So shout out to the back of the pit, the sides of the pit, for doing good. What else? What are people? Meg and Amber were hanging out, and they're both on Twitter, and great to see that, and just great to see these groups of people. I think that's a reason to go to the Gorges. You can meet people that you may have never met before that live on a different coast or maybe live in a different region of the country, and everyone comes to the Gorge like a big convention. SPAC is always the hardest ticket of the year. Highland, California was high, but it went down. SPAC's the hardest ticket of the year, but the Gorge is the best just gathering of fans. And yeah, it's just great to see all these people hanging out. Also was this is the wildest thing about the West Coast. When I went to the Gorge both times, I believe there was a Pac-12 game on. This game ended right when the show ended. The band went on stage at 8 o'clock. This is one thing I will not miss about the Pac-12 being essentially dissolved in the next couple of years. First of all, it's Coastal Carolina and UCLA. The game starts around what, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock or 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern. And the games, the Pac-12 games go on forever. And it's like the coolest thing about the Gorge, you wake up. Oh, cool. Football starts at 9 a.m. on the West Coast. I'm an East Coaster, obviously. Oh, cool. More games come on at 12. You can watch a lot of the football before you even head to the actual show because you're on the West Coast. But nope, there's always this one janky Pac-12 game that starts at like 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 10:30, 11 on the East Coast, and doesn't end until like 2 a.m. And the band ends closer to 2 a.m., a little before, like 1:45 a.m. And this game ends. So I will not miss that about the Pac-12. They have been destroyed because they did not get ambitious about building up their conference, keeping their members, and poaching from other people. But college football is definitely interesting, man. These conferences are changing. Let's see, what are some other people saying in the chat? Don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, Hines was calling, bro. He's like, yo, Hines, you're not at the show. Do your after show. After show with Don Dingle on Twitter, aka Hines. Oh, never forget this poster was absolute. I don't know. I was not a fan of this poster. This was night 2, 2021, and this thing was so blurry, so obscure. I was making a point about how some people didn't like last night's poster, like the worst poster in a while. I'm like, nah, this was the worst poster. Definitely. What else is going on? Yeah, we talked about Bayou. Oh, this is cool here. So this is what Chuck Sperry said. His news poster, the Bashante for Dave Matthews Band will be available on Saturday, September 2nd, officially through the band's merchandise at the Gorge Amphitheatre. Stay tuned. Sign up for the mailing list. This is the companion to Harmonia, the Gorge 2019 poster. The Bashante is a reference to the followers of the Bacchus, the god of wine, wine and rock and roll. Sperry says, when I think of the Gorge, thoughts turn to the awe-inspiring natural setting, the spectacular amphitheater, beautiful people, and cheering crowds. Prepare yourself for the roaring of the voice of the god of joy. Euripides, the Bashai. So, yeah. This was last night's poster. Was this year? This was from the end of last night. Someone put. I don't know if this was Connor's post picture or someone else from a poster thread, but I saw this picture circulating. So a lot of these were put on sale today. Yeah, a lot of, look at the stacks of that, and yeah, so a lot of them left over. Pretty wild. And we'll see what we get night 3 for posters. We also had that second panel we sold individually. You can see it kind of right at the bottom of the screen here, right before where the ticker bar is. See some stuff there. And color your own, $30. All right, that's all I got, I think, for today, tonight, this morning, whatever it is. Church in a couple hours, like 3 or 4 hours, so I have to get a little bit of sleep. And again, the Jordan Norris right there. Jordan Norris, look up his name, DMB. Shout out to him. He's been getting full shows. I should have, and again, still to be TBD. But if Copper Pot's not doing a Gorge full show, I will mix in some of Mitch's visuals, Mitch White and Jordan Norris and some other people's videos to try to get some of these Gorge shows up. I probably will do less camera switching than I did for SPAC Night 1. But I will try to get them up just to give you guys some awesome angles there. That'll be coming in the fall or winter. I'm not gonna stress out over all of that. These projects take a long time. I've always respected Copper Pot, but putting together these full shows makes me respect them even more. It is not easy to put together a full show there, let alone Copper Pot blends audio. So do a couple other people. There's a community of people who have in the past put together videos. A couple others have put them out even this year, blending audio, blending camera shots on a much more seamless level than I can. But there's a demand for it, and I know people want to hear it, so I'm gonna get Tedbro audio and some of the multi-cams, work on those in the fall and winter. All right, so we got fresh off the press. We're gonna end the show with Just Breathe. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, tell a friend to tell a friend about the post-show stream. If you don't see it live, you can watch it the next morning or anytime. Thank you guys. A lot of people started watching these streams during the tour break. Some people noticed an uptick of viewership the week after the weekend of Irvine. People were checking out those post-show streams. Watch it at work while you're doing work. Put it on the background. I don't have a podcast. I don't upload these as podcasts, but you can always play this YouTube on your phone, on your computer. And then as you're doing work, chilling, whatever you do during the week, listen to these reactions. Appreciate all the guests tonight. Oh no, every time. Okay, let me let it load up a little bit. So I'm gonna close out the show, but let it load up a little bit. Let the beat build, as Lil Wayne would say. That's how you let the beat build. Carter 3. But yeah, this is the show. Under an hour and 45 minutes. Hour 30 plus change right now. It's your boy Conserviz 34. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy this Labor Day weekend. No, I'm not going to say Labor Day. Labor Day weekend. Labor Day Gorge weekend. Man. All right. Peace.
It's been, I suppose, for a lot of us, but it's been a funny week. A lot of my good friends have breathed their last, and so it's a little blue. So I hope tonight wasn't too much blue, but that's just the way I feel and everything. I never played this, but I heard it today and I thought this was a pretty song. Yes, I understand every life is sent. as we sit alone, someday we must go. I'm a lucky man to count on both my hands the ones I know. Some folks just have one, others they got none. Stay with me, oh let's just breathe. See, I practice all my sins and never let me win. But under everything is just another human being. Yeah, I don't wanna hurt. There's so much in this world to make me believe. Stay with me, 'cause you're all I see. When did I say that I need you? Or did I say that I want you? If I didn't, I'm a fool, you see. No one knows this better than me. As I come clean, I wonder every day as I look upon your face. And everything you gave, and nothing would you take. Nothing would you take. Oh, and everything you gave. Did I say that I need you? Or did I say that I want you? If I didn't, I'm a fool, you see. No one knows this more than me. As I come clean. Nothing would you take. Think of everything you gave. I will love you till I die. I'll meet you on the other side.